Before we go forward, I do have a question for you. First and foremost, Alone in the Metaverse, I like the album. But the one joint that stand out to me, besides the NFT song that you just released for, is the Keeping Receipts.
Right.
With Trinidad, man. That was a dope, a dope mesh of a vibe, man. Like, how did that story started when you getting that feature, which is a dope feature, by the way.
Thank you. It was an interesting story, actually. I threw an event at Quad Studios, and it was like one of those watershed moments for me because what started to happen, for the past 10 plus years, I've been doing music, but I changed my shows to be more mixed media gallery events because I wanted people to understand, arts is artsy. And then a couple years ago, via Clubhouse, I dove into the NFT space. Which served as another tool for me to drop my music. So for the past years, I was dropping my songs with paintings, comic books, all types of visual art experiences and pieces of merch. So when NFTs came into the play, I dove right in, and it seemed like my experience from hosting and curating events and just curating mixed media projects really hit well in that space. So one of the first physical events I did was one called NFT Hype Beast, which was a play on kind of Hype Beast culture for this new phenomenon. And I rented Quad Studios, but I rented 3 floors because the space wasn't big enough for the crowd I was imagining. My shows at that time were probably bringing out anywhere from 300 to 500 people. That night, over 3,000 plus people showed up. So lo and behold, who walks through the door? Trinidad James. And one of my homies pulled me to the side. I was like, yo, Trinidad James is here. Oh, that was you? So I was like, yo, Trinidad James here, dog. I'm like, Trinidad James? And I'm like, how the hell he get here? I went up to Trinidad and I'm like, yo, bro, thanks for coming through. I'm like, yo, how did you find out about this? He's like, yo, everybody in the city is saying this is the event I had to be at.
To go to.
And I was like, wow, that's what's up, dog. Well, stick around. I'm about to perform right now. I was literally about to jump on set. I performed, and then afterwards we exchanged info and stuff like that. And then a week later, he invited me to the studio back in New York, because that's where he films his Complex show. And it was such a funny interaction because I forgot that we had, he just watched me perform twice. So, when you're in the studio sometimes with certain artists and certain, even celebs, you always want to feel out the process. You play some music, they play some music. So I went to go play some music for him, and he's like, yo, ARTZ, I already fuck with your music, bro. I didn't see you just rocking it. You good. He's play some beats.
Yeah, let's work. Exactly. Let's work.
And the first beat I played, he was like, yo, this is a hit. And I was like, well, you would know more than me because you had a vibe. So let's go with that. And then he jumped in the booth. I jumped in the booth and we banged it out, and that was history. But he's one of those dudes that I will say, you meet a lot of type of different characters in the industry, but he's one of those guys where he doesn't feel insecure about celebrating somebody else that's great. And he keep it very real, no matter what type of level he might see a person as, whether it be a regular fan, whether it be an artist. He's one of those people that he whatever he stamps, he's very meticulous with what he likes. And when he does appreciate somebody's talent, he's the type of person that is sharing it or telling the person next to them, yo, you never met ARTZ? Yeah, tap in.
That's what's up, Shout out to Trinidad.
Yeah, shout out to Trinidad.
Shout out to Trinidad. Word.